We know people are really itching to get outside and to start planting. It's way too early to be doing a whole lot of things with the lawn. But I'm going to say that when it comes to growing some vegetable crops, it is not too early. Some folks have started some things inside with some grow lights, and that's perfectly fine. What I'd like to talk to you a little bit about are some of the cool season crops that you can actually start doing right this minute. We have an extension publication guide. It's called Vegetable Planting Calendar, and there is the website. And you can go to that and click on it. When you see this, you're going to see the state of Missouri on the right side, and it's got 3 different colors. And so what we've done with this planting calendar is divide up the state into 3 different regions according to their climate. The Ozarks definitely is more like the northern part of Missouri when it comes to our climate. So we definitely want to make sure that we know what region we're in. And sometimes it's hard to know when we're on those border lines, and you just need to play it out as best as you can to what you believe is going to be best for your specific location. So this vegetable guide, what it does is it has 2 major tables in it. The first table talks about planting and planting guides. And so what it does for you is it has the vegetables listed, if you're going to preserve it or if you're going to eat it fresh, how much you're going to get for the plant, how the seed row, the specifics on that, how much you need to seed to have, the distance between the rows in inches, the distance between the plants within the row, the seeding depth, and then the days to harvest. And this is going to have a full listing. And you can see here, and I did a screenshot of this, but where my mouse is, and then if I lower it, I'm going to see all these different vegetables, and it includes warm season as well as cool season crops for this particular planting guide. The second table is the recommended vegetable varieties and specific planting dates. And here you can see asparagus is listed, and we have a bunch of different varieties, and then it has comments on it. So what is it that they would really like for you to do? Do you want to plant it by the plant, by the seeds? Do you want to do it how deep? When do you want to plant this? And then the dates are there for the southern part, the central part, and the northern part. And it gives you specific dates. And some of our cool season crops we can actually do plant in the fall as well as the spring. And if that's the case, this particular table will list the multiples of the spring dates that you can plant, and then the warm August dates that you can plant to grow them in the cool season as well. And so I've just picked the ones that are pretty popular right here so that you can see the different crops. Behind each crop, I've listed what is suggested and how you actually plant that particular crop. And then if it's in the south central or the northern part of the state, when is the best planting date for you to have there? And again, here are more of those different crops. And again, this is going to be in that extension publication guide, and some more here as well, so that you know exactly when to plant. And for some of these, you'll notice there's a variety of a stretch of about 10 to 14 days that you can plant. Sometimes it might be even a little bit longer, depending upon the crop. And now what I'd like to do is go ahead and turn this over to Jennifer.
Thanks, Debbie. So I just want to talk about some things that I plant in Northeast Missouri in early to mid-March. And I know it seems like now's not the time to be planting vegetables, but like Debbie said, it is. Even in Kirksville, Missouri, which is considered like one of the coldest areas in the state. So already I have planted spinach, lettuce, radishes, collards, and kale. I've not planted carrots or snap peas yet, but I plan to. But on Sunday afternoon and then Monday evening and Tuesday evening, I planted these other crops in containers. So the planting guide that Debbie just showed you, I believe that mainly applies to planting in the garden directly, in the ground. Well, we all know that containers and raised beds warm faster. And we've had almost a week of 60 to 70 degree temperatures in Northeast Missouri. And that did warm our raised beds and our containers. And therefore, I felt it was time to plant. And that's why I went ahead and planted the leafy greens that I did. So just want to show you some of the things that I planted in previous years. Here on the left, we have a container of lettuce, and then you see collards and containers of spinach. So you see chicken wire there. That's because I have chickens and I let them free range at times, and they can get into containers and those of you that have chickens, you guys know that chickens will make a mess of things and tear things up. So that's why I have chicken wire to protect the containers. But these were all planted in, I'm going to say early to mid-March. And then I harvest these in April throughout May. So I have a picture of a tag there. That one you actually see, it says March 24. So yeah, some years I may plant a little later into March. It kind of all depends on what the weather is like here in Kirksville. So like I said earlier, we're one of the coldest spots in Missouri. And so, some years we have snow or ice or, it's just really cold in March. We can even get snow in March. I know there's some Kirksville gardeners on this. And, we've had snow in April. About 2 years ago, we had snow, I think, the first 3 Sundays of April. So we just never know what our weather's going to be like. But be prepared to cover. So I have row covers or blankets, sheets. I have things ready to go. So if temperatures fall into the mid to low 20s, I'm going to cover these cool season crops. I mean, they are cool season, but I have had some damage in the past when temperatures fall into the low 20s. So be ready with something to protect them. And here in this slide, this is spinach. And this is a variety that I really like. Sometimes I get asked, well, what varieties do you like? I really like Giant Noble. And you can see in the lower right, it takes up like my whole palm of my hand. It's a huge leaf. And I use this variety for blanching and freezing. So I have frozen a lot of Giant Noble. Bloomsdale produces a smaller leaf, and Bloomsdale is better for fresh eating, although I freeze Bloomsdale. But if you're wanting a smaller leaf for salads or fresh eating, I would go with Bloomsdale. For freezing, I would go with maybe a larger leaf like this Giant Noble variety. And then you can see my tag in here from March 8th. So that was just 2 days ago when I planted in containers. And right now I have about 7 containers planted with these cool season crops. And that's at my house here at the extension office. I still plan to plant a raised bed probably this afternoon or tomorrow. So here's some sugar snap peas. The first 2 photos are planted. These peas are planted in containers at my house, and I have them growing up a trellis. I believe this is last year. And then the photo on the right, that is a raised garden area, raised bed area at the Adair County Extension Center. So those sugar snap peas are actually at the extension office. They were planted right out front. So people that come in, they walk right past there. And we did that. So if people wanted to pick a pea as they walked out or came in, that was fine. That was kind of a talking piece, to have that there. And so that they could pick the peas and eat them. The peas did really well. So I do get asked, well, do I need to plant them directly in the ground, or can they be in containers or raised beds? And here you can see that they thrived in a big livestock mineral tub, and they thrived in this other raised garden that we have. So I would just recommend getting out there and planting some of these crops if that's something that you like to do. I know not everybody plants cool season crops, but if you are a person that likes the cool season plants and you haven't planted yet, go ahead and get that done now.